Hi guys, today I'm just going to show you how to draw a juice carton on Tinkercad, okay? And there's a few different elements of it here that you'll learn in relation to how to use your work plane and dimensions and so on, okay? So basically when you open up Tinkercad, if you click here on create new design to start a new project, all right? I suppose the first thing to get into the habit of here, when you create a new design, it gives you this random name up here in the top left hand corner. So if you hover over that, you can see change name, click on that, and basically just change that to the name of the project you're currently working on, okay? So, and just click out of that again, you can see the name has changed to Juice Carton, right? Because if you have several different projects on your home page and different names on them, random names, it's just not as clear as it should be. All right, I have a juice carton here in front of me. I'm going to start creating it using these basic shapes here on the right hand side. So as I'm creating that, I've been measuring here off my juice carton. All right, so for the main body, if you like, of the juice carton, I'm going to use this box shape here. So I'm just going to drag that in and leave it there on the work plane. So as you can see, if you hold your right button on the mouse down, you can move that plane as you please. Or again, you can select here on the cube on the top left hand side to give you your different views and so on. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on that again there to highlight it, and I'm going to insert my dimensions here. If you just click on the actual dot there of the dimension you want, click on the little dimension box there, and I'm going to put that dimension in to suit my project, which is 70 mil base for this juice carton. Okay, so I'm just going to come around the side here. I want to click on this little red dot here again. Sorry, this guy here. That'll throw up the dimension for the other direction, which is also 70. Okay, so click 70 and hit enter. All right, and again, once you get used to it, you can move that around as you please, or just use this directional box up on top here. Okay, so next thing I suppose I want to do here is put in my height. Now you can see here, if you look at this little box here, the height of the box as it is only 20 millimeters. So I'm going to change that to 195. I'm measuring here off my juice carton. So 195 and enter, and you can see there it's thrown up that cube into more realistic shape of a juice carton. All right. So again, it's probably easiest to times there. You can zoom in and out with your wheel as well. Hold the wheel down, you can move it around the screen as well, like so. Okay, so do that to suit yourself. Now the next thing I'm going to do here is I want to draw the shape. I suppose it's like a square based I suppose a triangle in one way here from the side to follow the shape of your juice or milk carton. All right, but when I bring this in, I want to bring it in where it's sitting up here on the top of the cube I've already drawn. So what I do here is I click on work plane here on the right hand side, so your work plane tool, click on that and click on the surface then that you want that plane to be on, and you'll see there as I manipulate that around that the work plane is actually sitting on top of that cube. Okay, I'm going to scroll down to my shapes here, and you can see this little pitched roof shape. I'm just going to bring that in here into my screen, drag it on, and I'm going to leave it on top of that plane. Now obviously the size of that ain't correct, so I'm just going to go and resize that first of all. So I'm going to change that again to 70, and the same in the other direction. Click on the little dimension box, 70, and enter. And my height for that one is, just measuring the here, it's approximately 18 millimeters. I'm just going to move that around in order to get my height, and zoom in. Click on that icon again on your measurement box, and what do I say, 18 millimeters. Okay, so there you can see that guy to the correct size and dimensions that I want. Okay, if you look here, you have your little rotation bar as well. You can drag that around and you can change it to rotate, we'll say 90 degrees or whatever way you want, or 180, whatever it is, 270, whatever particular rotation you want. And you can see there that it has turned it around for me. Now, looking down on the top view here in the little directional box, as I call it, you can drag that around just to make sure that it's actually lining up with the carton itself. Now you can see here, I can kind of see the side of the carton, so it's not necessarily looking down 90 degrees to it. That's because here I am in my perspective view. So if you click on this icon, switch to flat view or the orthographic view, that'll change it where you're looking straight down on top of the object. Okay, and sorry, I'm after moving it there, down on top of it, and you can then move. You can use your arrow keys on the keyboard as well to move that to line it up as you please. So you can see there as I'm moving it with the arrows or with the mouse, you can drag that as well with the left click on the mouse, as you can see. So I'm just going to move that into place just to make sure it's as we want it. And I'm just going to click off it here as well. Okay, so again, you can just see that in your little 3D view there and where the work plane is and so on. All right. So I'm just going to switch back to my perspective view and I'm going to look in kind of at an angle here. All right, so I'm just going, just for now, I'm just going to drop the work plane back down where it was. So for the next part, you often see a little lip here on top of your juice or milk carton. Okay, in this case, it's only about 1.5 millimeters thick and it's your 70 millimeters wide. And I'm measuring it here to be a height of 15 millimeters. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to want to move this work plane. Now the way I'm going to do it, there are different ways you can do it. I'm just going to move this guy, just move it back out of the way for now. Okay, I'm going to click on work plane and I'm going to get it to sit on the top of the red cube. Okay, and again, I'm just going to move that fella back just to its original position. All right, and I'm just going to check that looking down on top that it is in the right place. There it is. Okay, so I suppose what I want to do now is I want to put on that lip. So I'm just going to bring in my box shape and I'm going to change the size of that. As I said, it is depth of 1.5 millimeters I'm reading here. The length of it again will be your, sorry, the height was, what did I say? The height was 15. Now I'm just going to stretch the height there. I'm going to actually leave it at 15. Okay, so 15, and the width of it I need to change as well. Okay, so click on this guy. Sorry, to zoom in for that. Click on that guy, and that was 70 millimeters wide, same as the carton itself. All right, so I'm going to drag that now into screen. Sorry, the mouse is going a bit wonky here. I'm just going to drag that guy. Sorry, I'm after changing the dimensions there of it. I'm going to look down on top first. I'll click on that and I'm going to use the keys on my mouse or keyboard just to line that guy up. Alright, so left and right there as well to line it up as best we can. Okay, I'm looking with my front view again, and obviously I need to lift that guy up. So I'm just going to lift it up because the work plane is where it is. I'm just going to lift it up. Sorry, gone the wrong way. I'm going to lift the height of that up, and if you remember, the height of this green part was 18 millimeters. Now I'm just going to bring it down maybe a millimeter just to make sure there's no gap, millimeter or two, just to make sure there's no gap between the actual carton, which is the green portion at the minute, and that little collar on it. All right, and again I'm just going to look down on top just to make sure everything is lining up right, which it is. All right. So another thing here is the little screw cap or the twisted cap on your cartons. Okay, I know some cartons are different. I'm just going to change again my work plane. Going to select that slanted surface there where I want to put my cap, and I'm going to bring in the cylinder here and I'm going to drop it on that. All right, again, just going to go back, measure my cylinder, which I'm measuring at 25 millimeters. So I click here, this guy. Now you'll notice if I click 25 millimeters here, it's going to change that to an ellipse. So just to be sure, you do that in both directions, like treat it as if it was a square or whatever other shape it may be. All right, just to have a perfect cylinder. And again, the height of that here, just to measure it, is 10 millimeters. So I want to change the height now as well. Click on the measurement box and change that to 10. Okay. So back looking in at that plane, I want to line that up. Now you could measure this or line it up and so on with the ruler, or whatever the case would be, but I'm just going to eye it up here with my eye. You can use the grid there, as you see the grid, and I think looking at that there, it is fairly accurate as regards being centered up. All right, so you have your carton there, and I'm just going to drop the work plane down on the ground again. You have the main portion of your carton there. All right, so next thing we'll do is we will put the text on it, and we want to keep the colors as we want them as well. Now, so as regards the color on this, as we are now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different bodies on that juice carton. So what I mean by that, if I select, I'm just going to select this top lip here if you like, and you see I can move that there as I want because it's a separate part as it is at the minute. Now what we want to do with that is we want to group that so as all 4 components are the one part, unless obviously you didn't want it that way. Okay, so that means when you drag any part of it, when it's grouped, it will move the whole object. All right, now as well as that, we need to change the colors. So there's 2 ways I suppose you can do this. I can start changing colors now if you want. I can click on that cap, click on solid here to throw up my colors, and I can change that to red, black, purple, whatever it is. All right, I can do that now individually with those because they're individual parts at the minute. Okay, another way I can do that is I can highlight the whole thing, drag a box over, click on the solid for the colors, and you can change the color there of the whole thing as well. Now you'll see again, if I wanted to change the cap to a different color, you can do that separately as it is currently 4 different parts. Okay, so what you want to do here, just be aware of how you do it. I'll just bring that back to where it was. Just be aware how you do it. It is because you may group it first. All right, if you want to group it, highlight the whole object. So drag left, click on the mouse, drag a box over the whole object. These little icons up here, this one is group, and again, if you want to ungroup after, you select this guy. So group. So that's all changed to one color as you see now. So if I click any part of it, it's selecting the whole object rather than the individual components. Okay. If you want to color it, then you can, same thing, select it, select your color, and you can select multicolor. Okay, so that will show single group multicolors. So this way you can pick your colors and change them as you want. All right, that'll bring it back to whatever colors you had on it. So just for now, I'm just going to go select the cap here. I'm just going to, go back, and I'm going to just color that before I had it grouped. All right, so you see here my cap. You can do it either way. I'm just going to go for white cap. What juice carton over here? I have a cranberry juice carton here. So I'm just going to go with similar colors to what I have. And I suppose a cranberry color. I'll do the lid the same. Sorry, this pitched surface, I'm going to stick with the same color, and the top lip here is actually in white, so I'm just going to change that to white. There you go. And I'm just going to select all that again and group it. So now, basically, if I move any part of that, it's going to move the whole carton rather than individual components. Okay. So up until now, guys, I suppose the learning objectives here, the learning outcomes, you've learned how to use a work plane, you've learned how to group several components, and you've learned how to color those as well. All right. The last thing I'm going to do here is add a little text onto the carton. All right. So again, I'm going to select my work plane, click on the front surface here in this case. Now it's totally up to you what text you put on it. And then just come up here to Tinkercad Basic Shapes, click the drop down arrow, hit text and numbers, and there you have your text. Okay. So you can bring in a text word here if you like and change the letters in it, or you can grab them individually here. Okay, I'm just going to grab them individually here just to show you. Don't worry about the sizes of them yet. So I'm just going to spell out cranberry. As I said, the sizes, not to worry about them. Now, I'm not saying you cannot size them. You can size them as you're going on if you want, but I'm not too concerned about that just for now. Okay. Looking for Y. I have to go on to the second page here. Yep. So cranberry, and I might as well bring in juice as well when I'm at it. So again, I've scrolled down here to the first page of those text. Find my letters. Yeah, so there I have it spelled, cranberry juice. So I'm just going to zoom in a little there on that. All right. So what I'm going to do here is just start selecting the letters. And I'm going to with my arrow on the keyboard. It's probably as handy as any. Just kind of get them. As I said, you can take your time on this or just do it quickly. But I'm just going to do it quite quickly here and line them up. I'm not going to waste too much time on it. Tighten them up there as you see fit. You can see they kind of latch onto the correct height, the snap-on, as you see the snap-on grid down here. So it does make it a bit easier and more accurate, I suppose. So rather than sizing all of them, I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do. I'm going to group all the letters together, and then I can drag and size it as I want. All right. So just going to line up these guys as well. Again, there are different ways. I said you could measure these as you want now as well. So I'm just going to, these guys are slightly down. So I'm just going to have them pretty much lined up. I'm going to highlight them all. Okay, and again, I'm going to group them. Okay, once I group them, sorry, I'm after grouping the carton there as well. I didn't want to do that. Just 1 second now. I should be able to select the text only. Sorry, a little trouble there with that. So to select the text only, if you click on the letter individually, by dragging a box over there a few minutes ago, it was grabbing the whole carton as well and grouping that. I don't want to do that. I just want to group the text. So if you hold Shift and select each of those letters individually. Okay, you might have to zoom in to do this. Select them individually there, you can see it dragging out over them. This, of course, unless you want to do all the letters different colors as you see them there. Okay, I'm going to keep them the same, so I'm going to group those. All right, so like I said earlier, I'm just going to change that while it's highlighted to white. Like I said earlier, the reason I wasn't too concerned about sizing them up is now because now I can drag that box. I'm going to look in front there actually. Sorry. Now I can just drag the box. I'm dragging the carton there at the minute. You can highlight the box, drag it to the size I want here in any of the corners, as you can see, to stretch it out. So that's why I wasn't too concerned about the size as such. Okay, so just for that, just going to move it up a bit on the carton. There you have it, guys. You have your text there on the carton. You know, it's something that you can play about with as well. The depth of it there, obviously, on your juice carton is not going to be out that depth, so you can just change the dimension there on that as well. So I'm just going to leave it to I'll just bring that to 0.5. It wouldn't even be out that much, but just leave it at that. And of course, the text here is separate, as you can see, to the carton itself. I'm just going to put that work plane down here again. But the text, as you can see, is separate to the carton itself. So if I drag one of those, it'll separate the two, as you can see. Okay, so don't forget to highlight the whole object and group it, and then you're finished with it. Now, I did notice here that the color has gone away, so I'm just going to click back on multicolor, and that should change it back to the colors that I had selected. Okay, as you can see it there. So what I did there, because I grouped it, it just changed it all to one color. If you went in, select it, select on the color, tick multicolor, and it should bring it back there to the colors that you had selected. So that's your juice carton complete, guys. You know, give it a go and don't be afraid to mess about with anything else. You know, it doesn't have to be a juice carton as such, but just give it a go. And again, make sure you have it saved there under the correct name. All right. So when you go back into your home page, it automatically saves. You can see here saving your work, and you'll see those different projects there coming up as juice carton. Okay. Well done, guys. Chat to you again. Bye.